Welcome back, and thanks for all the attention over the weekend after the tweet from President-elect Trump. My final point on fact-checking the Trump dossier was trending number 20 on all of YouTube over the weekend. One of the most watched videos. Very exciting, all thanks to you. Tonight, my final point isn't about fake news, it's about biased news. Biased is not by nature just news with an opinion. Opinion news hosts, such as myself, present the facts and then share the conclusions I've drawn from the facts, but of course, you're free to draw a different conclusion from the same facts. Bias excludes bits and pieces of the truth in order to frame the news, so you'll draw only one conclusion, their conclusion. Now, if you're looking for bias in the media, and we all should be, this is what to look for over the next 2 weeks. Protest coverage across the nation. Protests against Obamacare, disruptors at Trump's inauguration, the 18 House Democrats and counting, boycotting Trump's swearing in, singers canceling their inauguration performances, you name it. And we should compare this with the media coverage of one of the largest peaceful public protests in our whole nation, the March for Life in Washington, D.C. that happens exactly 1 week after Trump's inauguration, January 27th. Let me give you an example of the biased coverage. The New York Times wrote an entire article about Kellyanne Conway speaking at the March for Life. In the entire 700-word article, they didn't say the name March for Life even once when talking about the event. Not once. Anti-abortion march is what they call it. The only time they said March for Life was naming the official title of the organization's president. And this is what they're ignoring. Hundreds of thousands of peaceful protesters braving the freezing cold temperatures to stand up for life. It's all about women's issues, and the majority of the people there are women. But strangely enough, the media doesn't deem this worthy of coverage. The liberal media won't show signs. They don't show the scope of the masses of the people who march. In 2015, the March for Life received only 15 seconds of coverage from the mainstream media news networks. Pathetic. But I guarantee the media will show shots of anti-Trump signs at Trump's inauguration. They won't pan to show the crowds turning out to celebrate Trump's swearing in. They'll cover Michael Moore's plans to disrupt, to force the inauguration to take place behind closed doors. They'll broadcast shots of the so-called Women's March on January 21st, publicized by Hollywood feminists like Amy Schumer. Already this weekend, scads of articles triumphantly declared that Jennifer Holliday, Paul Anka, and Andrea Bocelli pulled out of their inauguration performances because of pressure from their fans. And of course, the 18 House Democrats planning to boycott the inauguration. You know, peaceful transition of power and all that aside. And that's not all. A so-called freedom concert isn't even a real thing, and it was supposed to steal the news coverage away from the swearing in of our 45th president. Well, we saw how well Beyonce and Jay-Z drew in crowds for Hillary. Maybe that's why this idea never got much traction, although that didn't stop the news from writing extensively about it, like it was a real thing, a real threat to Trump's airtime. It's like the mainstream media has learned nothing over the past year and a half about what people actually want to see on TV. And that's why it's important that you and I call out media bias when we see it, and oh boy, are we going to see it in this week. So let's call it out, shall we? And that's my final point tonight. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you like the show, send me an email at oann.com/contact. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and until then, have a good night.